or it might be 15. There's nowhere written exactly what that amount of runs is before you stop trying to hit and score runs. It's absolutely crazy. The number 4 thing he had is don't bunt during a no-hitter, which is absolutely insane. You're trying to win the game. It's almost like you're trying to do a favor for your opponent. That's right. Don't bunt during a no-hitter. When a guy's throwing a no-hitter, you should try to help him out. Exactly is what the writer says in talking about this. That's an extreme interpretation of the rule, but it's pretty close. The idea is that a hitter should swing his way on base because for some reason a bunt is cheap and illegitimate. Huh? Number 3 that the writer has is don't show up the other team, which could mean several things. Which could mean many things. A guy hits a homer or gets some other big hit and flips his bat and or reacts with too much enthusiasm, at least according to the other team's enthusiasm measuring instruments. Or 2, a guy hits a homer and takes too long to watch it, takes too long to round the bases, or flips his bat. Like, it's so many different silly little things to this, man. The number 2 thing that the writer has, retaliate. The most common version of this is when one team plunks a batter, apparently on purpose, and the other team retaliates in the same way, like an eye for an eye. And the number 1 thing that the writer has is ridiculous baseball unwritten rules. The number 1 thing that he has is respect the game. That's right, just a statement. Respect the game. What does that mean? It could mean one thing for me. It could mean a different thing for you. This ranks as the world's worst of the unwritten rules because of its glue that holds together all other unwritten rules and violations thereof. And it's also completely subjective. It's something that sounds serious and based in some sort of accepted reality, but the reality is it's meaningless. Baseball has no feelings. It can be disrespected. Further, players have given the word disrespect an incredibly broad meaning, just like the last one I talked about. A guy watches his homer too long. Disrespect. A guy flips his bat. Disrespect. A guy swings too hard. Disrespect. Anything that you do, and you're listening to the Doug Stewart Show, anything that you do where you don't, or you show too much emotion, whatever that means to said person, that's offended. If you show too much emotion, you have too much of a good time, the NFL just kind of eased back some of its rules on celebrating in the NFL because they figured out we actually as consumers, we like to see people have a good time and celebrate and dance in the end zone. Yeah, if you celebrate whatever the person that's offended feels is too much, you're likely to get a fastball in your ear. Right. You're likely to get hit in the face or in the head with a fastball. If you flip your bat too hard, whatever that means, if you show too much emotion, I guess if you smile, if you take too long to run around the bases, you might get hit in your ear with a 98-mile-per-hour fastball. We fighting. It's crazy, man. Let me read some of these messages in the chat. From Sydney Kalunda of Ninjaville, he says, for me, it's number 1 NFL, number 2 NBA, number 3 UFC. I like UFC too. UFC probably makes my list as well. Maybe even I put UFC over baseball. I might do that. I had to think about it. So he has number 3 UFC, MMA, number 4 pro wrestling. Sir, pro wrestling is not a sport. We kind of keep this confined to real sports. I like wrestling too, but it's got to be in a different category. It's got to be in the category with TVs and movies. Yeah, so pro wrestling is number 4. Number 5, he's got college football. Only when 2 good teams are playing. I don't care to see Alabama play Florida College of the Blind. I hear you. From 334 Bama Boy says, same here, Ty. Love baseball. Played it all from Little League to high school until I got hurt and had to give it up. Let's see. From, who we have here? From Al. What's that profile name? A Coffee Women Thompson. I don't understand. Let me take a look at this profile pic here and see what he's working with. I don't know who that is. But he says, T-Dub, I disagree. Having different dimensions in Major League Baseball parks is part of the charm. The Green Monster, Yankee Stadium, short right field fence, etc., similar to the weird stuff that NCAA hoop teams are doing to their courts. From Coop, Morning Stewies, 1, soccer. Damn, Coop, you a soccer fan? That's something else I'll have to do, too. I see you, Coop. So, undoubtedly, I'm going to have to talk more soccer, more football, as Atlanta has its own MLS team, the Atlanta United. But Coop says, Morning Stewies, soccer, English Premier League, 2 NFL, 3 NCAA football, 4 college basketball, 5 NBA. Okay, so Coop's list is his sports that he likes in order, which one he likes more in order. From Sidney Kalunda of Ninjaville, I have to agree with you, Sin. And the games are so damn long. Most of the time, them dudes are just standing around. That's why they got 182 games, because there's a lot of downtime in baseball. I mean, half the time you just standing up, you know. Very little action in relative terms to the other sports. Basketball is up and down, fast-paced all day long. In football, you have your little huddles and, you know, your little breaks when they change possession. But you talk about the action. And I think that's a big part of what is so endearing to sports fans here in this country is action and scoring, okay? We love scoring and we love action. From Cornelia Small, are we doing favorite leagues, association, or sport? Number 1, NBA. Number 2, NFL. Number 3, boxing. Number 4, college football. Basketball, number 5, track and field. Ooh, I like track and field, but we get to see so little track and field. We really get geared up for it, obviously, in the Summer Olympics, but that's every 4 years. I was just talking to somebody the other day about my baby girl. Like, we looking for 2024 Olympics for Carabera, for the LOB, you know. And so I love track and field, man, but there's so little that we get to see, or so many, or so little that we focus on, especially here in this country. And somebody, I just saw over the last year, maybe the last year and a half, they've started like a professional track and field league. I wish something like that could take off, man. But that's Cornelia Small's list. From Sin, Mr. Boomerang, more older people like baseball because they're mostly retired and have time to watch it. No other league plays a noon game on Wednesday. That's a very good point. You do have a much older demographic that watches baseball when you're right, when they have those businessmen specials where they have a game that the first pitch is thrown at 12 noon or whatever. Who can do that? You know, who can do that? Most of the time people are working. But you're right. That's one of those little things about baseball and the older generation that's big. From Montana Jones, baseball is the only sport not subject to federal antitrust laws. I wonder why. I think I've heard that before. Send Mr. Boomerang Clay. I should have kept my list short like yours. I forced myself to make 5. So he didn't really even have 5. From Clay right on to Chess Davis in the chat room on Spreaker.com. My favorite sports, number 1, pro college basketball. Number 2, pro college football. Number 3, twerk videos. That's it. Yeah, if watching twerking videos was a sport, man, yeah. From KC Doug, want the pictures to be like Drago. If he dies, he dies. No, I'm not saying that. I have to reiterate. I had to throw out a disclaimer when I said that earlier. I don't want to see that happen, but I think at some point that's going to happen, and they've probably been saying that forever. At some point, somebody's seriously going to get hurt out there. When I say serious, I mean paralysis, career ending. I hate to even say the word, but maybe even dying out there before these cats come to their senses. Same things, my same thoughts and sentiments about hockey. Like really? You know, you get into a little skirmish in football, and you getting all types of flags, you getting penalized, you might get thrown out the game, you might get a fine by the commissioner, by the NFL front office, you know. In hockey, they actually move to the side and let dudes like have a mini quasi boxing match. Like, where they do that at? It's crazy how some things are okay in certain sports, and in other sports, you know, it's taboo. You can't do it. It's crazy. Casey and Doug want the pictures to be like Drago. I just read that. From Miss Mocha Bella. Hey, Mocha Bella. She says there's a GoFundMe page for Chief's mom. I posted a link on Facebook or Twitter. Please donate. Yeah, my man Chief Rocker, who I went back and listened to a show yesterday. Chief Rocker had a show where he talked all about sex. I didn't delete it. I thought about it, but I didn't delete it. Why not? We online. Just give me a heads up, Chief, next time you're going to have a whole show talking about sex. But anyway, Chief's mother is ill. The number one Chief Rocker Byrne from Jersey has a show here on WSME, and he's got a GoFundMe set up. If you can help out, man, please go ahead and do that. From No Love, Tiger's second barber. The code is mostly a white rule. People need to start seeing that. From Sin, Mr. Boomerang. So what if a player threw the ball at LeBron's every time he dunked on their ass? Right. Like getting hit by a baseball is the equivalent to a guy in the NBA, you know, going up for a dunk or a layup and the opposition undercut him because he got a dunk. He got 3 or 4 dunks early in the game. And maybe that's extreme because you land on your head in basketball, you're probably going to die, which is much less of a chance in baseball. But the same analogy, it's the same thing. You're doing something that could gravely injure somebody. Imagine if, you know, every half of a basketball game, a player went up for a dunk, and because he's, you know, in his 30s or you're about to score 40 or 50 points, you know, the night that Kobe Bryant went for 81, because that was showing up his opponent going for 81 points, when he went up for a dunk, they undercut him. Oh, hell no. That's a great example how crazy it is. Ridiculous. When we get back from the break, man, little basketball talk. I know a lot of y'all don't want to hear it. Lonzo Ball is in the news. Lonzo Ball and his daddy in the news. They done told you what's going to happen. What's going to happen is he's going to be a Laker. That's what they telling you. Hour number 2 coming up next, the Doug Stewart Show.
This is funny. I love poetry. Your poetry. Your poetry. Your poetry. Poetry, hair on point, paper sack brown, maybe she was red, better yet chocolate. She fly, but she got an attitude. I like the way she move with them baby fat shoes. I wanna see her with the lights on. It's dark in the club, cause the music too loud. I wanna know your damn name, not your damn drink. I'm a G, gentleman, I got range. She a little beach dancer and she go to Clark Atlanta. Maybe she be trapping on the block in your hood. Either way she bad, she got clad. Everybody drop their drinks when she bad. She work a job, but she hustle inside. Yeah, anything trying to kill her, she can buy. I want her on my team, she my point guard. I love her cause she's soft and hard. Poetry. She poetry. She poetry. She poetry. She poetry. Poetry. Yeah. Poetry. She poetry. I love her cause she's poetry. She poetry. She It's your poetry. It's your poetry.